Hey YouTube, Jason here from Vapes. We're going back to the clearance section. Hey, so I hit up my local vape shop and they had a clearance section going on. They had a $5, $10, and $2 just like before. This time I found what would be my first Mech mod. It is the Gaia. It came in this nice little box here. It says Tesla Gaia, and that is by, I didn't think I could pronounce it, Zarras, Zarras. I looked it up and did find a little information on it. It comes in, let's see what we got here. It comes in these three colors. This one mod also accommodates the 18350, the 18500, and the 18650. I have it in 18650 mode. In the box you get, let's see, this is just a breakdown. Really, that's all that it comes with. It's a Mech mod, so there's not much to it. You put a battery in and one end contacts the other, and when you press it in, you're getting the full voltage of that battery. But yeah, that's what comes in it. You can take these rings off to get to the 500 battery and take another ring off to get to the 350. We're going to be in 18650 mode. I'll go ahead and pop a battery in there for you guys. I've got a Samsung 18650 30Q. When I did get this, I noticed that the push button was really weak, and it didn't seem like it was working like it was supposed to. So I took it apart, and it's a magnetic push button on the bottom. And the magnets were not opposing each other. They were actually stuck to each other, so it was just giving like a click and no resistance. So I fixed that real quick fix. But I'm not sure how that got by QC. Or maybe somebody was taking it apart on the clearance section table and it just fell apart and the magnets stuck together, so they put it back in real quick. Because this was open. It wasn't a sealed box. So let's give it a hit. This is the top on here. This tank is one of the other ones that I got, though. Real quick, we'll go over it real fast. It's an Axiom by Innokin. It came with its own little build deck in there just before I hit it, so we know what we're hitting. It came with its own little build deck, but it also has its own coil in there. We're hitting the coil right now. It came with an extra tank glass. It's a small little tank. Let's see if you can see. Here, we'll go ahead and get rid of that. It's a small little tank, but it came with a spare glass that's the exact same as this. So if you break it or something. Let's see. And we're smoking on, or vaping on, sorry, Dinner Lady Orange Tart, which it hits really good. That orange tart, I was hoping it would actually be like tart, like I was biting into an orange, but it's more of a cream, like an orange cream, which that's what you were looking for. It's exactly what it is, orange cream. This guy is awesome. It's my first Mech mod, so I was a bit hesitant. I want to make sure I used good batteries in it that didn't have any nicks in the wraps or even older batteries, because I don't want to blow up. I like my face, even though it is ugly. It's still mine, and I didn't want to do any damage to it. But this guy, so like I said, when I first got it, the magnets weren't opposing. So I didn't think I could sit it down like this, because the fire button would have definitely just gone right onto the battery contactor. But with the batteries opposing, he sits fine. He doesn't fire. I could make him fire if I wanted to, but that was one of my biggest issues. I was like, well, am I just going to have to lay it over or always take the battery out? Which, with the Mech mod, is probably not a bad idea to take the battery out. There's not really much to go over with this. You don't have any displays or anything. It's a Mech mod. It does what the battery has, you know. So, the Axiom, though, I really like it. I'm kind of anxious to build on it because it does hit really well with the built-in, but I bet if I put my own coils in there, it would hit even better. Yeah, I like it a lot. And I'm anxious to try a new flavor in there too, because I'm not really digging the Dinner Lady. I've heard really good things about the Dinner Lady brand, but this one they shouldn't have called it Orange Tart. It should have definitely been called Orange Cream. All right, so that goes over this guy and the Axiom that we got there. So I'll put these boxes off to the side here. Our next was the Eclipse. This guy right here. And that is the Eclipse by Horizon Tech. There's another Eclipse out there. This is not that one. This is a 35 watt. It's got a 0.5 ohm protection. So if it goes below 0.5 ohms, this isn't going to fire. So pretty much everything I have except this guy here. But I'm not even going to fire it for you. I would not. I mean, this is just a look into the past, really. I got it for $5, so it's cool to have on the table. But and actually, you know, I thought I made out like a bandit because when I opened this up, it actually had a battery in it, an 18650 Samsung. So I wasn't worried about it being a cheap battery or anything. It was a Samsung. I was like, sweet. I popped it in the charger. It looked like it was charging, but then nothing. When I took it out and popped it in something else, it just didn't work. So, but I mean, what am I expecting? This probably sat on the shelf. I think this came out in 2014, so it's probably been on the shelf since then. But yeah, it's got a little magnetic battery cage. The fire button is 5 clicks to turn it on. You got your up and down here. If you put a head on it that is below 0.5, it says check atomizer on the little display here. But yeah, and then let's see if you can see this. This is the only one they had. That's why I have pink. There you go. Come on. Well, it is called the Indulgence V4 Mutation X. Let's see if you can see that. And right off the bat, it had great airflow. So I was like, man, this could be awesome. But that might be its downfall. Okay, so if you can see this, it's got airflow there. Let's see. Right here. And down on the bottom also. Let me spin that open for you so you can see it. See on the bottom there too? You got 3 holes there. And then you got this guy up here that turns and opens those up. But even with these closed off, it's got so much airflow that the flavor, you're getting pretty good smoke production, but the flavor is not there at all. And I saturated the crap out of my cotton in here. Let's see. You can't really see, but I saturated the crap out of it. Gave it a little while, hit it again, and still, I got to the point where I could at least taste what the flavor was, but you just didn't get that good, even this guy or any of my other tanks, you get like a leftover taste in your mouth, like a aftertaste almost. And this, it's just air, really. It's what it just tastes like. You're getting a big air hit, and didn't really like that. It's easy to take apart. I do like that. This comes off like that, and then that's your top airflow, and then you got your bottom airflow. That's a little bit harder to turn, but so this comes off easy. This one, however, does not. This one is on there snug, but it needs to be. What sucks with that, though, is the only way to get these air holes to line up with your coils is if this bottom part is wide open. And then they do line straight up with it. But I think these should line up, and then you should be able to turn this on its own. That way, it just makes more sense to me. Because you want your airflow holes on top to be lined up with your coils at all time. And if you're changing this down here, then it doesn't line up. So it doesn't really make sense to me. You can take this glass off very easily. It's on there to prevent the spit back, give you a little bit of room between the drip tip and the coils, which I think I do prefer. But that might be the problem that I'm having with too much air. Giving that extra little bit. So I don't know. Initially, I'm going to say not a fan of the mutation, but I'll keep going with it and see if it grows on me. The one pro about this was it's very, very easy to build on. It's, let's see, 4 screws. So dual coil, 4 screws, very easy. You can even put the coil in, tighten down, and then cut off. Even with the other coil in on the other side, so it was easy to access. Like probably the easiest I've worked on so far, which isn't saying much because I've only messed with a couple RDAs, RTAs, but definitely easier to work on than the ones that I've been using, the Pyro and the one that came with my K2. But yeah, so not a bad trip to the vape store though. I didn't find any home runs like the Sigeli Fuchai K2 that I did last time. Because those were like still on the internet for $50 and I got it for $10. This guy I found on the internet for $24.99, I think was the cheapest, and we got him for $10. So that's still pretty good. And it's my first Mech mod, so that makes it special to me. No, just kidding. But this little Axiom tank, I think I will like more once I do the build. It came with... Where's that little guy at? The only thing I'm worried about with that is that this this build deck is tiny. And I've got big fat fingers. And... Yep, already lost it. Now, let's see if you can see that. I mean, it is tiny. And those are Allens. Which, I don't know. I think I'd rather just have a Phillips, just because that's what I'm used to using. But it did come with an Allen key. I have several that fit this. So it's not that big of a deal. but it's just a dual post. So you're supposed to double up, even though it's so tiny. You're supposed to double up your coils into the connections. So I don't know. That looks pretty rough, but I might give it a go anyway. It did come with a blue plug for one side, so I could just do a single coil. We could see how that goes, but I doubt a single coil is going to have as good as flavor as what's already in there, because it's got its own dual coil build in there in the pre-manufactured coil that came with it. So I don't know, but just look how tiny that is. We'll compare it to, let's see. Here is a smock coil compared to their build deck. Here is the build deck that came with the K2, the RDA build deck that came with the K2. It's just, I mean, tiny in comparison. Like, I could fit this guy inside of that. Crazy. So maybe I'll break out like a microscope and try this out. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. Not sure what our next episode's going to be. Hopefully I get some fun stuff in the mail. Or I did get the Coil Master kit. I might go over that because I've thoroughly gone through everything, and I could tell you everything that's in there and what it does. That might be pretty cool. So I'll see you next time. If you like my review, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. Hit them all. Hit all the buttons. Now, have a good day. I'll see you soon, guys.